Hey guys, how you doing? Yesterday we had a video about France's President Macron, the newly elected Rothschild banker Macron, coming out and stating that France would lead with the United States in a joint response if chemical weapons were used by Bashar al-Assad. The joint response would be made against Bashar al-Assad and the Syrian regime. Well, we also heard from Defense Secretary of the United Kingdom, Michael Fallon. He apparently came out and stated that Britain would absolutely be ready to support the United States against Bashar al-Assad. They brought up again how the U.S. claimed that there's potential evidence supporting the notion that Syrian regime members would use chemical weapons against civilians, including children. But this is just a really scary situation, guys, because it looks like NATO is gearing up for something big in Syria. We've got three of its biggest members, France, the United Kingdom, and U.S., that seem to be pushing this war agenda against Syria for some reason. And we got to ask ourselves why. You know, like the only thing I can think of, the only two things. One, Bashar al-Assad is really this evil guy that he's being made out to be, and he's got to be stopped. Or two, pipeline on Syria. Another thing, the Turkish army tanks pour into northern Aleppo for offensive. Turkey is a NATO ally. I know lately Turkey seemed like this caliphate, this Islamic caliphate, and Erdogan, their president, has been given basically absolute power, and it looks like a dictatorship itself. Sometimes Turkey, that country looks more like a dictatorship than Syria does. I mean, it's just the truth. But Turkey is a NATO ally, and it looks like they're from the north. They're readying this offensive as well. So we have a lot of pieces being put into place here. And the last piece of the puzzle is Israel. Israel closed down the Golan Heights to tourists. All right, that's closed now. And why is that happening? Well, we're seeing strikes from the Israeli side on Syrian positions because what they call stray mortar shells. But honestly, it's just pushing the agenda for war. Israel, who I've been a supporter of in the past, just like the United States, I'm an American. I'm a huge patriot. I love America. But I hate when people in power, decide to go to war for means of profit. And so what we're seeing in Israel is they're closing the Golan Heights to tourists, and they have tanks lined up in the Golan Heights. It looks like they're mounting an offensive. It looks like what we're waiting for is this false flag, this apparent chemical attack that the White House came out and stated, hey, this is going to happen. We have evidence that this potentially could happen. They didn't talk to any of the intelligence agencies. They didn't talk to the FBI, CIA, anybody. They just came out and said, hey, we've got evidence. It rings bells of the Bush era and the claim of WMDs. So it definitely looks like everybody's getting their pieces together. We've got the U.S., France, Britain, Israel, Turkey, all seem to, they have troops in the area. They've got air power. All this is going on in Syria. And we haven't even talked about the Qatar crisis. That's still going on as well. Saudi Arabia and the other Gulf states gave Qatar a list of like 13 demands that were pretty insane, that Qatar was like, hey, we're not doing these. Like half of these aren't even real. And that just pushed them closer to Iran. And who's Iran a huge supporter of? Syria. So there's definitely sides being drawn here in the Middle East. And it looks like a bigger offensive from NATO and its allies is going to happen. And we're all waiting on this apparent chemical attack that most likely will be a false flag. This is something I think you guys should know about. Wanted to tell you guys about. Keep you guys in the loop. There's a lot going on. But guys, as always, as new developments happen with this situation, I'll keep you guys in the loop. We'll have a discussion about it. I'll make a video. Make sure to check back because this isn't going away. This isn't going away at all.